can't see yourself, you're not in the photo. Yep.
Alrighty. Well, good afternoon. This is an incredibly late start due to a whole bunch of work that we've had to get done. Actually, Pat, do you want to adjust the camera so it actually just focus it a bit closer?
Ooh, focus it.
As in push the box towards us, essentially. What I'm saying.
Oh, you mean put the high-tech box?
The high-tech.
There you go. That's a good gimbal. That's it. Spot on.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing another online wine tasting today because we just like drinking generally. And of course, as usual, we've got Pat, the novice wine drinker, of course. Dan, who's been an off-cider for over 10 years now, is the knowledgeable one. I'm Andrew, the know-it-all, and we've decided our special guest today, Chatty.
Hello, team.
The fitness one.
Yeah,
I'm going to say the fittest of us, at least one.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, it's fair, cool. Yeah.
One of the fittest.
And sorry, what are you doing on Sunday? You're doing your stream for...
Yeah, I've been invited to be a part of a worldwide conference that goes for 24 hours.
Yep.
Where I'm doing a drunk history of fitness.
I could do half of that.
The drunk bit.
The drunk part,
Yeah.
yes.
I can make up a lot of it.
I can remarkably make
To be
up
fair,
a lot
I
of
will be making up all of the history.
So, just a quick rundown. Now we've had Zontes before, and I should say it's called Zontes, not Zontes.
Really?
Zontes.
That's a cool quip.
Yeah, it's like cool quip. But we actually, so Brad Ray is the winemaker for this. He's actually a really lovely, he's Canadian made good. Literally, his card says, Brad Ray, Canadian made good. That was the first time I met him. I went, yeah, this guy's got a sense of humour, I like it. So Zontes is actually out of Adelaide Hills, McLaren Vale. They also have some stuff down at Fleurley as well, which is the southern part of the McLaren Vale region. So we are looking at the wines today just to sort of see what they're doing. And I was down there just recently. I managed to avoid COVID and get down there before.
I think we're going to do more than look at them.
Well, we're going to drink them. Drink a lot of them. Essentially what it comes down to though is that he's got a lot of vineyards up in the Adelaide Hills, and it's kind of on a corner where it becomes Adelaide Hills and it's McLaren Vale. So some of the fruit he gets is actually McLaren Vale, some of it's actually Adelaide Hills. It's sort of on that juxtaposition of them. So it's actually, he's got some really clever plantings and some really good viticultural growths up there. But for me, the reason I'm doing this today is because when I was down there, I went through a few of the wines that, well, they might be released now, but they were some organic styles that he's done, because they've got some organic vineyards. But I was wanting to look at particularly the Super Trooper, and we'll talk about that as we get to it. But I'm bringing up one of my favourite wines that he does. This is his Violet Beauregard Malbec. So, as you can probably guess where Violet Beauregard comes from?
Yes.
Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. So that's the annoying
Which character?
girl.
That's the girl.
That's the little
Yeah.
annoying girl.
Yeah.
Violet, you're turning violet.
Yes.
And her dad was not much chop either,
No,
was he?
no. Well, mind you, then again, I don't think that Charlie was particularly nice either.
I don't think children should have been let near Charlie.
No.
Well, yeah, and the dad,
Depends
well, the
which one.
granddad that just sat there in bed while his family was starving.
For
didn't-
40
didn't-
years or
yeah,
something?
didn't
Yeah.
go and get a job,
No
but
problem.
won a winning ticket, and yeah, he's dancing around.
Yeah, it always concerns me when those kind of things happen. So,
Oh, you,
What are you doing?
we're watching to
we've
make sure we're
got
on.
to monitor ourselves.
Yes.
Someone's got to monitor
Yeah,
us.
we've got, someone has to make sure we're not being silly.
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late now. So, alright, I'm not going to pick on Pat quite as much today. I'm going to pick on Chatty a bit now.
Right.
Excellent.
So, Chatty, what
Yes.
do you know about Malbec?
It's a great.
It's a good start. Nailed it.
Yeah.
1 point for you.
It's
Next.
red.
Yep, 2.
Interestingly to me, it's going from the mid part of my tongue back versus the front part of my tongue.
Yep.
And then it's quite dry after it leaves your tongue.
Okay. Any of the history of it? Where it's from?
Yeah, look, I'm fairly sure I believe it started in France, and I believe it started when the Germans invaded France, and then they started digging holes.
Not quite. You were so close.
That's a prelude to Sunday night, isn't it?
That was actually World War One you're thinking of, and it wasn't a hole, it was a trench. Anyway, no, so Malbec is actually a French grape. It's actually...
Oh, sorry!
Tick, yeah, well done. However, it's on the far side away from Germany.
That's all.
It's over in the Bordeaux region. It's one of the 6 classic grapes that they can plant and make classic Bordeaux with. It got basically translated all around the world, but particularly it is the major grape varietal of Argentina. So if you're looking to see what Argentinian wine does best, Zontes, which is the white, and Malbec, which is the red.
How did it get to Argentina?
Actually,
Walk.
no. This is actually it's actually a really good history
Great
story.
point.
I don't know if this counts as fitness history or not. So, what was the major civilization in South America before the conquistadors landed?
The Aztecs.
Yeah. So, what did they do?
Can I say that with more confidence without my... The Aztecs?
Yes.
Yes.
And what were the Aztecs remarkably renowned for?
Chocolate?
Yes, but before that, not just that.
Oh.
No. Well, gold is another one, but mainly
How many things can we get right and then you say no?
slaughter.
Oh.
So, they did two things.
Good at that.
They butchered their way through all of South America, but two, they created roads.
Ah.
Now, you think, oh yeah, roads, big fucking deal. Anyway, we make
Roads
roads all
of
the
gold?
time. No, but roads. So when the conquistadors landed, and they're like, oh yes, we've come to take your country, essentially, and the Spanish landed, what they did is when they took the Aztec Empire down, they literally used the roads the Aztecs made and followed that. So therefore, the Aztecs who spread their civilization to the bottom part of South America, down to Chile particularly, and across into Bolivia, Argentina, they did roads. So the conquistadors suddenly had this thoroughfare to invasion, and that's what they did. Now, if you're taking that many troops over there, you need to give them something to keep them happy. And what was the one thing that they all drank a lot of?
Wine.
Wine. So yes, thank you the Aztecs for letting us invade all of South America.
Yeah,
If
well
it wasn't
done.
for
There
them,
you go.
we've had to cut through jungle
Jungles.
and terrible.
Mosquitoes
Yeah,
and no good. Stay
Shocking.
out.
Yeah, you should have seen it.
Yeah.
No, do not come in.
No.
Yeah. So the Aztecs actually did that. Now the major plantings for the Spanish was actually in Peru, which has got absolutely almost no culture of grape production today, because it's not a particularly good area to grow it. But all the grapes that were planted there eventually made their way south into particularly Chile and Argentina. And in Argentina, Malbec was the major grape
Did they
varietal.
take it as a fruit originally, or
Yeah,
it's
no.
like we can make wine out of it?
They
Or
literally
is it
just
just
make wine out
To
of it.
make wine out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no point planting grapes and taking that. You'd rather plant something citrusy or something that can allow you to get the sea journey over. But grapes were obviously the major fermentation product that they used. Remember we talked previously about how the Roman Empire spread and how the Ottoman Empire spread, and the only way they could do that would be they needed alcohol to make the water sources
Yeah.
potable for them.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They just did that.
Good use of the word potable. Bob.
Yeah, I thought so, yes. These days, potable can mean something completely different. But yeah, so as I said, when it comes to the history of the world, if it wasn't for alcohol, we generally wouldn't have civilization. And I'll actually say that's just straight
I
out.
reckon that's fair.
It's true. As far as I can see, every research, everything I've done for research, and I am coming from
Probably
the
don't
alcohol
have
side.
taxes either then.
No, taxes are actually a fairly important part of it. But everything I've seen is that the major problem that all empires had was that as soon as they went to another, and not even that far, just across the mountain, suddenly you drank the water there and you got sick.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to hold a battle when you have the shits.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, to hold a any kind of weapon when no,
how's it going?
Just give me a minute, everybody.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
I'll be
Make
back.
one.
Yeah. So Malbec generally shows a stronger tannin component, but it's good acidity to it. If you're trying to judge acidity, how much the cheeks water. So
Yeah, what you
put it in your mouth, and as soon as your cheeks start watering, the more it waters, the more acidity there is in wine.
That's what I generally call juicy.
Juicy, yeah.
It's a juicy one.
It's a juicy
Makes your mouth
one.
water.
Really, really good for food. And that's why wines with high tannins and high acidity are generally regarded as food wines, because it gets a gustatory.
gustatory system. Yes, nice.
Gets that working really, really
You
well.
two with your big words.
Yeah, we
I might have to sit next to Pat.
Yeah.
Nose and mouth. There
yeah,
you go,
that's it,
man.
So you get the whole thing going. So, so you should find this cheek watering. Tannin-wise, it's not particularly drying on the tannin,
It's
but
not
it is
too
quite a
grippy.
heavier style of wine. Not quite as heavy as the Cabernets we're going to see later on, but
It's
it's
around
good.
for a while though. It sits in there for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, it's got good.
I'm surprised they don't blend it more. Like, I reckon that'd be a brilliant wine for blending. Like,
It is classically blended with Cabernet.
Cabernet.
Cabernet,
Cab
always.
Malbec.
Yeah.
Cabernet. Would you do a Shiraz with it as well? Try.
You can do as a sort of a field blend, but it's not a great idea for it. And I say that only because historically, as I said, it's a Bordeaux grape, which
Yeah.
means Cabernet Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, Carignan.
This is Australia. We do all
And
sorts of
Cab
wacky
Yeah.
things over here.
Why?
In Australia,
Because
though,
we can.
yes, we're completely allowed. But
The rest
when
of
I
the
was
world
in
goes, hey, that's
when I was in
alright.
Western Australia, though,
Oh.
they do Cabernet, but to give it a bit more structure and a bit more fruit weight, they actually put Malbec into it.
There you go.
So that's what it's there for. So as a blending grape, it's good. You don't need additional fruit in Shiraz.
So not
You
like
don't need more structure coming into it with Shiraz.
I suppose a lot of like vineyards wouldn't like have too much of their like kind of field set up for Malbec though,
No,
so
no.
it's hard to make it
You can't duck out of screen and drink your
Yeah.
beer, Johnny. Just
Yeah.
do it on screen.
Do it on screen, it's fine.
yeah, it's hard
We
to
call it
kind
palate
of
It is a pellet cleanser.
use it as a blending grape if you
I was more
don't have
embarrassed
much
about
saliva. You
salt.
probably want to make it a
Don't worry about
single
size.
variety.
No, actually, it's the other way around. If you don't have a huge parcel or a
You
fairly
just
sized
use it
parcel,
to
you use it to back up your wines to improve the flavours and the taste
Yeah.
you want. If you've got a fair bit of it, making a single varietal of it can express it. Like you might notice that most of the guys that I know do Grenache, but they were doing GSMs for a long time, and it's only recently they've started separating it out because Grenache has suddenly picked up a big drive behind it, and they start making straight Grenache. Beforehand, it wasn't a straight varietal.
Straight
it is.
Nash out of the week. That was it.
yeah, the Langmars.
Stunning, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites.
Yeah, see, I haven't had too many straight Grenaches I love, but I love most GSMs. Like,
Yeah.
they're, like, usually on point.
Yeah, because they're front to back,
Yeah.
full palate flavours. They're really, really lovely. So that's just a quick meander through history of Malbec. Now we're going to go to our favourite, well, my
I'll
favourite.
move that phone real quick.
Yeah.
Dude, have you been here before? That was amazing.
You just destroyed the illusion, though, Dan.
Not his first rodeo.
I really thought that he was just going to.
Someone just liked it. Somebody just did a
Oh,
like.
hey, we got like
No, we-
fans.
we have fans.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
All two of them. Thanks,
two of
Mum. Thanks, Pat's mum.
Yeah.
And Roz, where are you?
Yeah, Roz. Oh no, she's not here yet. Actually, Pete will be watching this later on. So Pete and Helen will be watching it. They bought a pack to. Because what we do is we sell these packs.
All right.
And then people go home and join us drinking them.
Well,
There's 4 bottles for
when
60 bucks.
me and Chatty used to live together, we had a drinking game.
Oh,
based
yes.
on rewatching
I don't
it.
think you should say this
Yeah,
out
it's
loud.
about the same.
No, we used to have a bingo sheet that we used as well. I made it up and put it on.
Share it, Pat.
Yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
good.
I love it. Like, if
There
I,
you
if
go.
I,
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
If I say I love it, you have to drink.
Yeah, I love it.
And just watch, because by the end of the show, Pat will all of a sudden seem way more intelligent than he did at the start of the show.
Yeah, that was back when I had a beard. I could stroke and sit there and
Yeah.
ponder.
And
He started
Yeah.
to talk more, like,
Yeah.
you get a bit lippy.
So you just sort of you be quiet. And everyone, you must know something. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about chess moves from like games of checkers I played a while ago.
So did you say chess moves?
Yeah, yeah, we heard that.
Chess or
That
chess?
is, yeah.
Yeah, I was playing the wrong game, but I still won.
Yeah, I like it when the queen jumps twice through the oven.
Skips over that black thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going on to this is actually the biggest
Actually,
selling.
about the Melback, that
Yep.
was so McLaren Bar.
That was,
Yeah.
yeah.
On the nose, on everything, it was like,
Yeah.
whoa, that's McLaren Bar.
So-
I've actually been in the phone.
That-
Let's So what we have, Juddy, again. So if I said to you, you're having a McLaren Vale wine, what would you suggest? What would you think that would be?
From Adelaide. From South Australia.
Australia, yeah.
From South Australia.
So what do you
I've been
reckon
there.
the classics of? Hey, Alan.
Hey, Alan and Les J. Haha, I'm not your mum.
I'm not your mum. Oh,
Are you sure?
you sure?
Thank Christ.
Actually,
Is that your mum, Jaddy?
Juddy's mum's there.
Jean would be offended. How dare you, sir?
So from McLaren Vale, what do you have any experience of the wines from McLaren Vale?
Yeah.
And what they bring?
So, my experience of the McLaren Vale wineries is someone takes me from winery to winery,
Yep.
and I taste everything they've got except the whites.
Hey, don't
So
do
like a
whites.
front lane, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little racist.
And then I literally look at them and go, yeah,
Grapey.
it smells good. I'm getting hints of grape.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah. Black currant, usually. Just chuck currants in.
Yeah.
Some sort of other fruit. It's a bit citrusy, this one. And they go, oh, well, and yes, got it.
I can almost guarantee if you said the word citrusy with a red wine, then probably someone's going to look at you going,
He's drunk.
he's
Well, to be fair, it was the last winery.
Yeah.
So Squid Ink on that side?
Yeah,
it
Squid Ink
Yeah,
on the
Squid
side,
Ink
yeah.
was my favourite.
That's
Was
what
it Mr. Chook or
Association.
Mrs. Chook driving
Yeah.
around?
Yeah.
It was,
The biggest one we've been down there is Chook's. They bring the bus out and picks up from the airport.
Oh, Chookie, yeah, I like Chookie. He's good.
I know some people who live down there in the Adelaide Hills actually, and they used to just drive me around. It was great.
Yeah. I do that too, but I just let the police know I'm coming. They just,
Well, I had to work at some stage, and then that bit wasn't fun. Actually, no, it wasn't.
Actually, I was going to say, my work then was fantastic. So McLaren Vale generally is renowned for being quite a fruit-driven area. It's quite hot, so therefore the grape produces a lot more sugar, which means there's going to be a lot more esters. In the cool nights, it does get quite a cooling night due to, it's actually, because of the ocean nearby, it gets a really mitigated climate, so it's more of a Mediterranean climate. You'll find that the fruit will also be, as I said, quite fruit-forward, quite jammy in some cases. If they leave it hang too long, it gets that really jammy extracted sort of style, which isn't really well loved, but is actually something that McLaren Vale is kind of known for. The other part that it is, it's got a texture. McLaren Vale wines always seem to have a texture, quite a velvety texture to them. The reds particularly, they always find they're wonderful.
Brock, Brock's watching.
Actually, Brock, I just want to say, Brock, I'm a bit concerned that I seem to be seeing a lot of Mad Monday posts in your Facebook feeds. I want to know, A, how you know Cameron Munster, and B, is he actually engaged to be married to someone? Because according to those Facebook posts, I don't think he will be.
So he's available.
Fair,
They
they
know.
did win the State of Origin.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
There was that
probably
time.
the worst Queensland team ever beat New South
Yeah, I
Wales.
like that. How good is that? The West Queensland team beat the best New South Wales team.
Yeah.
That doesn't say much for New South Wales, does it? Not really. Maybe St
It
Kilda
was
can
nice
do it
that
next
they-
year.
It wasn't a true State of Origin win though, because I didn't get to see Paul Gallen try, and that just kind of
Oh, you didn't see it? Oh,
No, that was off camera. That was off camera. That was off camera.
Yeah.
As long as he did
Just-
try, I'm
He
happy.
cried. Yeah, he cried.
I like how it was done for the money, and they just lifted the band just in time to have a full stadium.
Yeah,
Queensland.
yeah, in Adelaide, and now we've
Oh,
got
hold on,
it.
no, they didn't lift the band in Queensland.
It was still full
It
stadium.
was a full stadium. We just didn't let New South Wales play. No, you may stay down there while we have our State of Origin up
You
here.
shall not pass.
Pass, yes.
Except that one streaker who managed to get away.
Two!
There
Oh
was
yeah, but
two.
there was one that managed to dodge like all the guards and did a full run and
Yeah.
scored at the other try end.
Did he?
Yeah, it was actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
I was
It actually
stoked.
sounds like
Yeah,
I should have
he
watched
played
that
better than
game.
most of the Blues. To be
Yeah.
fair.
Oh dear. And as our channel gets shut down for
Don't.
where's a lawyer when you need one?
Cody, streak across the table.
See, this Shiraz, like, I'm surprised, like, it's not as, like, spice, as I was expecting. Like, with Shiraz, I'm expecting a little bit more spice and kind of,
You will see that if you're looking at a southern French Rhone style one, you're looking at lots of spice. But most of the South Australian ones, because of the hotter climate, will get more red fruits and lots of chocolates to them.
yeah.
Particularly, you're going to get, and this is how I really tell the difference between different areas of Barossa and McLaren Vale. In Barossa, you get sort of that mocha flavour,
Yeah.
coffee chocolate. In McLaren Vale, you get that bitter chocolate.
Yeah.
And in Clare Valley, you get a milk chocolate. And someone, I turned around and said it to someone, and they're just like, oh, poo-poo. And then we went round and drank, and he went, actually, geez, I can really see what you're talking about now. It is, and they're kind of known for that. Blue fruits is the other big thing you pick up in McLaren Vale. Where red fruits for Shiraz turns up quite a lot in Barossa.
Yeah.
And in Eden Valley, you get lots of darker fruits. Red, but still quite dark, so red plums and things like that. In McLaren Vale, you're generally going to get lots of blue fruit. So blueberry, mixed with raspberry and cranberry. So,
This is a Barossa.
This is McLaren Vale.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I just don't get the rich, juicy fruit out of this one.
It's a bit jammy, like.
To be fair though, if you were having dinner and you had this next to you,
With the steak.
yeah.
It's
Oh
lovely.
yeah, it goes for a
This
lot.
is a really lovely one. In fact,
It's a very easy drinking Shiraz.
It's a really
To be fair,
lovely
and in
wine.
all honesty, have bought several bottles of it and have drank all of it.
Yeah.
It's actually one of our biggest sellers.
Sorry.
in this
I'm
range.
sorry about that,
Yeah,
everyone.
no, that's fine.
Everyone goes.
Why did he get
chocolate factory?
You didn't feel everybody else's. What about this guy?
Well, you can do it yourself.
Yeah. You got
Once
two
you
legs.
have
Oh,
your
Two legs and a half,
Settle.
Ah.
It's just I felt we rushed the first wine, so I want to actually just sort of sit and
We rushed
review
it
one.
at 3:30
Yeah.
when we were supposed to.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
supposed to start. So.
We've been decanting them for all of 10 minutes.
Been decanted.
Actually,
This is
that is
I'm getting a lot more grippiness and
Yep.
tightness out of this. And
You are getting more tannin out of this. This is quite lovely, but it's also balanced. It's really well balanced.
You can say stuff.
Grippy and tightness is.
No, I said
Right.
grippy and tannin.
Yeah. Actually, some of the tannins
Chatty,
can be
Hera,
tight.
chatty.
I would like to point out when I watch Chatty, mostly he's doing this.
He's practicing for going to the bar later.
And that's actually what he does for a living. But what he does for
That's
drinking
called
is
a
just
long.
that. But,
That's a long wait.
Yeah, it's not very impressive. Actually, can you explain? Just, I really would like to people to understand what is it that you do again? Because we are but kind of making fun here, and he actually is particularly good at what he does.
Just
so.
let me finish my pretzels.
That's what he does.
Yeah, he drinks pretzels.
So, what do I do? I coach people who coach people. So I coach fitness stuff to people who coach.
Yep. And in one particular area, though, was it? Or?
No,
You're a
in all
personal
areas,
trainer to the
probably.
personal trainers.
I am the guy that teaches the guy that teaches the guys. I probably more, if you were to look at what I do, the functional fitness area, the movement coaching area, fascial anatomy. Not only that, wellness and enjoyment in movement, not just movement.
Okay.
To do, yeah.
So psychology behind it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee I don't generally enjoy moving.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, to use a stat, only 15% of Australia's population actually has a gym membership.
Mm-hmm.
Of that, we don't know how many people actually go and do it because people keep belting people. with the same
Everyone buys a
shit.
gym
Yeah.
membership for a year on January 1st
Yeah.
and then never uses it after February.
And because you walk into the gym and everyone goes, hey, this is what you have to do. What if I don't like that? And what if it actually hurts me? And so we
That is a
see-
problem I find. They go, oh, you've got to do this to do this. And you're like, well, hang on. I've got a sore shoulder, and you're going to make me lift these weights.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
That's not going to help me at all.
Yeah, hang on, I'm just lifting a weight right here.
I'd like to point out my own personal thing is I paid a lot of money to a personal trainer to lose some weight, and I ended up with an enormous hernia. I've been really not keen on doing exercise much ever since.
Well, the other thing is he should be doing different exercise to us two and yourself. Like the amount of information we're finding about genetics now and epigenetics, how you express those genes, is really interesting. So,
Okay.
but welcome to the genetics show. ladies and
Genetic
gentlemen.
show of drinking wine too. That is actually.
He has his own
I am
station
going
if
to
you want
I
to
am
back
going
that
to
up.
put a caveat on this next part. So this next part that I'm about to say is a genetics-based thing, but it's also a cultural and historical thing.
Yeah.
So, in all of the world, who are the people that you think would be least able to handle alcohol? And we're not talking any sort of. We are talking here literally cultural and racist. Racist.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Racist. It's slightly,
I'm not going to be racist, but
it is slightly racist, but there is a reason for it. So, what do you reckon? Pick a nationality that you think would be the least able to handle alcohol.
Well, I'd actually have to say, like, Australian Aborigines, just for the
Australian
fact that
Aborigines,
they've
that's good.
they've
Any,
had less contact with alcohol.
Let's contact. I was actually going to go the indigenous Africans.
Africans, yeah.
I'm in around the indigenous Africans and the indigenous Asian cultures.
Asia carries a lot of area. Can you just sort of bring it down a little bit? Asia counts China into that too.
Like, to be fair, the Japanese do a good job of throwing them down.
Tibet, they're pretty Buddhist.
Yeah.
No, I'm like probably that central area of where you get near Nepal and where China meet in the middle there.
That's exactly right. Now,
It's gonna
why?
I'm sorry, what? Ladies and gentlemen, are we on? Nepal and China, yes.
Yeah,
I bet it's
you're
us,
completely
isn't it?
correct. Yeah. No. The reason is well, actually, hold on. Guess what the reason is? It's a really obvious reason,
says
and it's
Chinese.
one that. Yeah. No, that's completely correct. The Chinese is 100% correct. Now, do you want to know? Do you understand why or what causes this to happen?
One, they're smaller in stature because they didn't have enough access to. Well, don't go down.
No, actually, no. That's actually size is actually very little to do with it.
Because you can brew alcohol.
He
out of
keeps telling me
anything.
that size has very little to do with it.
That's why I put it that place. So you've got like Italians generally are small and swarthy. They're not huge people, but they can drink like fish.
Probably genetically not a high volume or capacity in general in the population to hold on to fat cells.
He's gone
Possibly,
on exercise
very possibly.
regime right now.
I would, but however, it's actually in when I was doing university, there is an enzyme that actually breaks down alcohol, and it breaks down alcohol in your liver. So it's a liver enzyme that is far more prevalent in European cultures than it is in the rest of the world, because European cultures had a lot more alcohol throughout it to start with. So we've actually got, and I'm saying Europeans as a whole, so everyone from the Irish all the way across to the Germans, the Russians, all of that Northern European area that had high levels of alcohol throughout their
so basically the
history.
Celtic kind of.
No, Celtic going into the Slavs,
Or
going
European,
into the Russians, going into the Rus, almost all the way over to the Siberians, going down Montenegro, Greece, to actually surprisingly the Middle Eastern part.
Yeah.
So we're talking around Israel, Palestine, all
Can
of
you say
those.
those two things in the same sentence?
You can,
Israel and
because
Palestine?
they are pretty much the same place now. Anyway.
Yeah.
Invasion helps.
It's the same as lactose though. Like a lot of those cultures grew up with lactose.
Yeah, if you grew up with cows and drinking cow's milk, eventually, historically, you've developed a way to cope with that. So the coping mechanisms that Europeans have developed is literally the heightened level of enzymes in the liver, which breaks down alcohol. So anyone that hasn't been exposed to alcohol, particularly in the last couple of 100 years, and so you can pick the cultures. China has had a very strong alcohol culture only in the northern part of China. The southern part, poor as, in that they've never had no tradition of drinking at all, which, Les...
Les is actually just saying there is no tradition of drinking.
Yep,
So,
there is. However, in the northern part there is. There is actually quite a strong tradition
I
of
thought they
drinking.
were like the rice wines and.
Well,
No,
that's
Japan.
Japan. That's Japan's rice wine.
Because
But
like when
Soju and Korea, that Korean area, so
yeah, I
that
saw
northern area,
MASH once. They
love
have
it.
their own still.
they do. They
love
drink
it.
quite a bit.
Because when the Mongols were going south into China, they were going to the southern part of China first.
Yep.
I can't remember what dynasty it was. They were going there because the Mongols used to drink arag,
Yep.
which is like fermented mare's milk, which doesn't sound very nice.
Delicious.
And then they got
Next
to,
week, ladies
they
and
got to
gentlemen,
southern,
Arag.
Yeah, they got to southern China, and then they found all the rice wine, and then they're like, oh, you mean drinking alcohol? You can enjoy it and
Sake.
Delicious.
at the same time.
Where's the same sake Japan?
Yeah. The other part
Everything's it comes
is
from
so the
places.
Mongols, obviously it's that central
Yeah.
Siberian area as well. It's the Mongols area. India is also a very high in alcohol culture and always has been. So I do find it really amusing when people start portraying it as a racial thing. It's not. It's literally you haven't had it in the last couple of 100 years.
Yeah,
You
nature
haven't
nurture.
developed it.
It won't move.
So
It's a-
the reason I'm actually bringing this up is actually I went and did I'm sort of doing some courses in wine, and one of the things that was brought up is we would like to see more diversity in we want to see more people of colour in our wine courses, and I'm sitting there going, cool, that's good. I agree with it. That's great. In fact, one of the best sommeliers I know is actually Aboriginal, part Aboriginal at least. Really lovely guy, really knows his stuff. He has a European background on one side and Australian Aboriginal on the other. Great palate, really knowledgeable, great at making wine lists. However, went to a party with him and his relatives and they were just tragic.
Yeah.
Now, speaking as a person who is actually doing courses and talking to many other different groups of people, the idea that a Frenchman is saying we need to be more diverse in our drinking habit, more in our inclusivity for alcohol, if you haven't got a background of that, it's very hard to get into it. Nigerians are generally not going to be particularly big on drinking wine because they don't have it. Guinness, yes. Second best Guinness in the world is actually made in Nigeria.
Is that right?
That's
Yep.
true. Yep.
Yep. A, they're the second biggest drinkers of Guinness in the world. B, it's the second best Guinness ever made because who would drink the water? And it looks the same.
Is that?
Yeah.
It looks the same as water.
You can choose mud or Guinness. I'll take that one. Thank
I'll
you.
take the Guinness. Thank you very much. Comes complete with an AK. Anyway, so
I was going to mention anything like that.
How old are you? 10.
10, yeah, you're in. But no, so I said that was it was really interesting to hear this, and it sort of came from an area of love that he wanted to get more inclusivity into it, but an area of complete disregard for ignorance. Yeah, it was just ignorant, which I thought was hysterically funny.
We just gotta like. Someone said something
Someone
funny.
said,
Is it
stop
like
it.
Yeah, stop it! Don't encourage us. It's very bad for us.
You can choose.
Speaking of encouraging,
Oh yes, now
3 hours later.
3 hours later.
Yeah,
This-
how long
was that tour again?
It's like it's a 3-hour show that goes for 10 hours.
Yeah. This is a very brand new one from Zontes.
Oh, this is the new one.
What kind
This
of
is the brand new-
vehicle is on the front of it?
That's
A troop carrier.
It's a troopy.
Ah, it's a super trooper.
You were just talking about Nigeria or something?
Yeah, no, we're not going for child soldiers. We're just talking about wine now.
No branding, no, not allowed
No.
today.
These guys actually got really good labels. If you look
Yeah.
at them,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like Sin City,
they've
kind
got-
of like little bits of
they've
colour
got-
and black and
Why
white.
did you turn that one and go? And that's a really good label, isn't
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
To be fair.
I think I know you. I think you know that lady actually. This one's got a windmill.
Oh, see, he was good.
It's not.
Yes. So this is the new Shiraz Cabernet. Now,
Is this one beige?
It's got a windmill.
it's got a windmill on it. No, it's a chocolate factory.
Chocolate factory.
Ah.
It's just Charlie's Chocolate Factory.
Charlie's Chocolate
You'll
Factory.
notice all the labels are around Charlie's Chocolate Factory.
Well,
Except for the Super Trooper.
Trooper,
Except,
yeah.
yeah, all of a sudden there's a random.
And
And blew that out of the water with that car.
Blackberry Patch, which is obviously a
It's-
mulberry pizza, which
Yes.
sounds amazing.
No way. How?
Yeah. No, you can step right away. Go
You can
away.
have dessert pizzas. They're good.
Yes.
Yeah, keep Cody away from our
Go
pizza.
away.
Unless you streak across the table, Cody. No.
I can do that.
Go on.
No! No! You have work to do.
You have a uniform? Wear it.
Yes, that concerns me. The fact that our owners do watch this, by the way.
Oh,
Just
hello.
to give you a heads up. Hello, Trevor. Nice, Marilyn. There you go. So this is the Super Trooper. Now, Shiraz Cabernet.
Mmm.
Where was Shiraz Cabernet developed?
Mmm.
Australia.
Why?
Deliciously.
Because we like
Because we
stuff
can.
That's exactly the right answer on both of those.
Yeah.
The reason that it doesn't happen in
They don't do
France is that Bordeaux is classically the Cabernet
Yeah.
region,
like. Soviet soda.
and
Right,
Rhone
same
is
place
the
as
classic
ours.
Shiraz
Yeah,
region.
right.
and if you've seen where Bordeaux and Rhone are, they're nowhere near each other. So the grape varietals don't generally cross across different regions.
Yeah, right.
And so, they've never really developed a Cabernet Shiraz. I have been proved wrong. There has been Shiraz or Syrah planted in Bordeaux, and it has been used to back up.
Is the H silent?
No, Syrah. What's it? Syrah. Syrah. So they have actually had. They did actually have Syrah in Bordeaux, but then Phylloxera came, wiped out the entire thing, and then they replanted or recrafted, I should say, onto American rootstock. Under the grapes that they were classically known for in Bordeaux. So therefore Syrah kind of just died out. I don't think there's any left in there at all, actually, to tell the truth.
Dan,
Hey Dan, how you going?
Also,
Whatever you probably don't pass this one on to Brad. We've been going a little bit off topic.
And
So-
when you're coming up to play some guitar,
yeah, actually you
you piped out
Piped
last
up.
time.
you should have been up there. We had a great night last time.
Yeah.
That was really good.
also, my auntie's watching. Hey, Ange.
Hey, Ed.
And we're very inclusive here.
Where's
aren't
Ange's comments? Oh, she didn't comment. She's just watching.
we? Mm.
Yeah.
It's more of a stalker then.
Yeah. Looky Lou.
Fine.
So why would Australia develop a Shiraz Cabernet apart from they can? Why did they do it? Why would you develop?
Probably because of our
Shiraz Cabernet-
climate. They've gone, this is what grows well. We need
Just to
to make
balance.
something with it.
To balance your.
Good
like,
idea.
Well, you got a Shiraz and a Cabernet, and you can balance out both of them by putting them together.
Yeah,
But
you're
they had to
kind of
work
on the
that
right
out.
track. You are really on the kind of right track.
Was there too much
I'll,
of one
I'll just say
grape
this.
and not another?
I'll explain it quickly. Shiraz. So if you want to draw a graph for how Shiraz drinks, this being the front, this being the back of your palate, Shiraz does this. So fruit forward, all the flavours in the front, then dissipates into the back. Cabernet, a little bit to the front, and then all in the back. So why do you reckon we developed a Shiraz
We wanted
and
to
Cabernet?
taste the whole
Whole
thing.
palate.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why it is, and it's a classic Australian blend.
And Australians do some really good inventing. Like we've got the Ute, the Hills Hoist, and
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Shiraz Cabernet.
Steam
I don't think Wi-Fi is going to carry on. I think that's a dying.
It's dying thing.
Yeah.
Never going to happen.
But like Hills Hoist, I think we invented the goon bag.
We did.
Yeah, we did invent-
Actually,
well,
the
to be
goon
fair-
bag was invented by Angos.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Is
And
that,
they don't do them anymore. But anyway,
that's so we could play Goon of Fortune?
Yes, that is.
Break Goon of
And
Fortune.
so we can have a
That's
nice
why
sleep
they
at the
did-
end of a big night.
yeah, it's good.
So we made the Hills Hoist and then we invented Goon of Fortune.
Yeah.
Goon of
Oh,
Fortune.
Fortune.
What are we
Yeah.
going to do with this? Hang clothes on it? No.
No.
Got to be something better to do with that.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
So anyway, so have a look at the Shiraz Cabernet. Tell us what you think of it. So
I reckon it's delicious.
it's.
All of it is
Yeah.
delicious.
When I actually had this, I was down at the time He said, "Oh, I tried this our new Super Trooper at Shiraz Cabernet." And my first thought was, "Oh, red blends don't particularly sell hugely with us. Our GSMs do, Grenache does, because we as a group really love GSMs,
And we can sell it.
and we can sell it a hand over fist." Shiraz Cabernet, we're not really, it's not really one of those things that sells a lot.
That's 100% correct, Les, and I've seen the statue where that was. We
Oh, the 8-hour
did
workday.
did too. And unions, yes.
Yes.
Thanks to the stonemasons.
Okay, well, hold on. I will say, why are French loaves this long?
Oh,
Hold on. Oh, you already know the answer to this one. I told you.
come on.
Why are cheese rounds that size? The 150 gram cheese rounds, and why are bottles 750 mils? All of those are for the same reason. What reason is it? You can't answer because I've already told you. Go on, have a shot. Just take a stab in the dark. What do you reckon, Les? What do you reckon? It's the
He said, and the sickle.
and the sickies.
The six. Oh, we
Siggy,
can
yes.
I haven't had one in like
Was that
13
the only
years,
measuring thing they had?
No, not quite.
Oh, well, that's why they
Yeah.
need kettlebells.
I don't know. I guess they're the same size. The cheese round is the same size as that. And you've got to spread it over a whole length of bread. Because that's what I do. I just put the whole.
The great innovator.
Oh, look, Pat.
Pat, look at him, look at him.
He's
Hang on,
excited.
before he answers, before you answer, if you're watching, no. If you're watching this at home, rewind so you can see the look on Pat's face before he's about to answer this question.
Well,
And I want him to do this.
I went through the entire point of school and not knowing a single answer.
Here he is.
And I finally
He's so
got one.
excited.
You're
Go.
up then.
So, the reason why the French loaf, the baguette is that size, cheese is that size, and the 1 mil is 750 mil, is because that is the rations that they were given back in the day. So that was your rations for the day. You got 750 mil of wine, you got that much of cheese, and you got a foot and a half of bread or whatever it is. Yeah, and that was how they rationed it.
Who just devised that though?
I actually forgot the question.
It wasn't Charlemagne?
No,
No.
Napoleon.
No,
Napoleon actually said how long.
Oh, he's got it. The bread's got to be as tall as him.
Not quite. So Napoleon actually said, because he was really big into quantifying things, and Napoleon actually turned around and said, "How long do the peasants have for a break?" And it turned out 40 minutes is the length of a meal break. And what did they consume in that time? He said, well, they consumed this much bread, this much cheese, and a bottle of wine.
There you go.
So that's why breaks are...
If I did the lunch and came back, it'd be like,
Best workday ever.
Greatest workday ever. But no, that was it. They literally, he said, so the peasantry need, because he knew the history of what happened to Louis XVI, he decided that, they need that much cheese, that much bread, and that much wine to keep them happy. That's what we're going to do.
Sweet.
And that's why bottles, 750 bottles of...
There you go.
So I can have 750 mils of wine on my break?
No.
So if I drink a whole bottle by myself, I'm just...
Yeah,
You are just being
break.
what a normal French peasant would have.
C'est vrai. Très bien. Merci beaucoup. J'apprécie ton effort. That's French. Je m'appelle.
Oui, je m'appelle Pat.
Ça va?
Ça va bien. Merci.
Je m'appelle Pat.
Super.
Super.
So,
That's brilliant.
That's delicious.
That's a
Yeah.
stunningly good wine.
Would highly recommend that. In fact.
And the thing is, if we were going to talk about flavour profiles on things, this one here has got the blue fruits that you're going to see. You've got red fruits in there as well. You've got some blackberry notes in there from the Cabernet,
It
but
hasn't got the tannins.
Hasn't
no,
got the
I
tannin.
actually think we could have had it before.
the Shiraz.
Yeah, I reckon that one's like I don't know how you mix the Shiraz with the Cabernet and somehow
Hang on,
it's,
let me show you.
it's
Oh, no, I
easier
We'll do that at the end anyway, don't worry.
Yeah, I don't know how
We've
that's
mixed some
easier
very
drinking
nice
than the actual Shiraz, even though it's the Shiraz and Cabernet.
Because
Which I would have expected to be the other way around.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought the Cabernet would give it more
Yeah, more body and more
body,
tannin.
more
Now,
tannin.
I do believe I can kind of answer this question for you.
Is there Malbec or something?
No, I believe that the Shiraz, maybe from the cooler areas of towards the Adelaide Hills. When I was talking to him, he was actually talking to me about the plots that this comes off, and it's got some really
See
lovely
how much
instructions
difference
for
it makes
Cabernet.
whether it's on that hill or that hill.
So the Cabernet is coming from the Fleur-Lay, which is the southern part, but I believe the Shiraz might be coming from a bit of a cooler climate area, so it's not quite as jammy and fruit forward. According to this, it says it wafts. It wafts.
West.
No, it wafts of
Yeah, what's
macerated
your own
cherry
interesting-
and campfire toast. A fresh.
Campfire toast.
I
That
have
smells
no
go.
idea.
To be fair, when you said it, everyone just went, I've smelled that.
Yeah, better go.
Yeah, it's like burning thong as well.
Pat.
Oh dear.
You just crack Cody up.
It just cracked me up. Actually.
You won't streak across the
A rush of fresh berry, choc, mint, cloves,
I don't get
I get mint,
and
actually.
seedless,
I can
smoked
see mint.
bacon, robust fruits. Okay, I'm not going to go for the roast bacon, but I will absolutely go for the cloves.
Roast
and seedless.
bacon?
Yeah.
I get roast bacon hocks. Like the whole bacon
I
hock.
think it might be.
We're going to have to revisit
Yeah,
this.
revisit
Yeah.
It's important that we do this trial.
I'm now looking for roast bacon.
This is either the best or the worst show ever, by the way. You can choose.
It's actually both.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, that's winning.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
looking
it's
for
like
roast
it's like
bacon.
the pea and ham soup when you soak the bacon hocks. Yeah.
Delicious.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm going with that one, but yeah, okay, well,
I can
No,
see
don't
it.
get bacon.
I get bacon.
Bacon hocks. Like it's different to bacon.
There is
strips.
a meatiness to it, but I'm not going to go with. Look,
I would've
at a
said
stretch,
there is
maybe.
an earthiness.
an
at the start,
earthiness,
like-
yeah. Look, it's got some meatiness to it as well. Like there is something to it that is there, but I'll go with they chose bacon.
You're not stretching it to bacon hot?
I'm not gonna stretch
I
it
can
to
see bacon hocks
The barrels that
pre-soaking for a
were next to
a
the
pea and ham
front.
soup.
Well, at least there's one good thing. You know, that if this was a beer, it would have
And,
actually had
and it
bacon
totally
in it.
agrees. And
Yeah.
Luckily, it's a wine, so it
Yeah.
doesn't.
and is
And I can drink it.
like wine is the best.
Wine is the best lot. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
But did you get bacon?
Did you get bacon though? Yeah, that's the question I'm getting at. I'm not getting bacon myself.
I am going home to cook some bacon.
Yeah. See, I reckon
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
get
dance
bacon
house.
hocks.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You said size doesn't matter.
I stand by my statement.
Buy dinner first.
Yes. All right, so
That was dinner.
that is a delightfully good wine. I
Yeah,
really
it's
enjoyed
delicious.
it.
I think that's brilliant. Like,
Seriously.
as an easy
What's your recommendation scale? Like, is it 2 thumbs up, 5?
No, 2 times. Well, generally we pick the winner out of the day, and
If people
we've
are
got one to
looking
go.
We-
So.
we voted.
if someone comes in and asks for I want a nice, well-rounded
Not
Shiraz,
only
Taste of bacon.
but they don't
Here's the
want
great thing as an Australian male. If you're trying to impress a lady, you're trying to find a wine.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, everyone be quiet. This is Chatty.
Right.
the guru.
Yep.
Letting us know.
By the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah,
no,
Chatty has impressed at least 4 ladies in his life.
to be
Yeah.
fair, my mum is one.
No.
Oh no, even she's still on the fence.
Hi,
What
Jeannie.
wine am I going to buy? Hi, Jeannie. There's a picture of a
Oh,
Atlantic Couture carrot. I know what they are. I'm going to get that one.
Ah.
She would not be unimpressed.
yeah. Because it shows you're sensitive, but you also like
Trip carry.
true carries.
Man,
Yeah.
Well, you do realise that the another one that they've got, the one we haven't got today, is the Grenache called the Love Bug, which people buy because it's got a combi man on the front of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
And now we
Brand's
should
Canadian,
get.
of
And
Of
course.
course, you'd say
that-
bacon. Yeah. I'm amazed you didn't say maple syrup in that as well.
Now,
No, the proper maple
syrup.
syrup,
Yeah.
not the fake stuff.
Hey, see,
Just maple bacon.
Just
Oh,
a
it's one of the
second,
best
hold on.
things
He's
ever.
off, he's off.
I would like to point out that I will be hosting a sparkling Shiraz class.
That's our 10 cents.
That's our 10
Bring
cent
that
count.
back.
Come on.
Mate.
Yeah, take it away. I will be hosting
Yeah,
a sparkling
recycles.
Shiraz class, and the best thing you can ever have with sparkling Shiraz is
Girlfriend.
Christmas presents.
A girlfriend.
no, absolutely. It is pancakes, lashings of butter, bacon, and maple syrup. It is the breakfast to die for, and probably because you're hard to stop.
Yeah.
Have that with Shiraz, that sparkling Shiraz.
That'd
It is
be
the-
fine.
seriously, dude, it is just amazing.
When is this happening again?
That one's on the 20.
Buy tickets now, people.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually sold out. Don't
Don't buy tickets now, it's all gone.
Due to popularity, they're releasing another
No,
event.
we haven't booked up that one yet.
Champagne class.
No, the champagne class is
Yeah,
there.
sparkling
I'm talking
Shiraz.
sparkling Shiraz. That's happening on the week of December.
One's
On the week of Christmas, sorry.
I always find out about these things later.
You just read the book. All right, now we're going on to the
He writes the
Cabernet.
book. Have you seen his writing?
Actually, I would like to point out my writing is atrocious. I have no idea how I pass exams,
I
honestly.
have no idea how doctors pass the ability to.
I actually think you passed the exams because they couldn't actually read your writing. They went,
Well,
yeah, that's good.
That looks
Yeah, prove me wrong. If I can't decide for me, you can't.
That's exactly what I wrote down.
I would like to point out actually I did pass my when I did my unit 3 for the WSC diploma. I spent so long writing very clearly and eloquently all the way through it. I'm sitting there going, if I don't pass this, I'll be gutted because I don't think I could write that clear ever again.
And if you didn't pass it, it's probably because you had to write so slow you didn't finish the damn test.
Oh, well, put it this way, it's a 3-hour exam where you have to do 6 questions, and each question is essentially 4 foolscap pages that you've got to actually give, inside those 4 foolscap pages, the most concise answers possible. Oh, it's crazy.
I'm sorry, concise and 4 foolscap pages.
All right, so what's the name? Explain the viticulture and vinification of wine made in Pouilly-Montrachet.
Yeah.
They grow grapes.
They took grapes off the
No,
place.
it's not quite they grow grapes. You've got to give everything.
Dirt,
They grow grapes
water,
from
Yeah.
sticks.
sun.
That's a good start.
Great.
They're all the outlining
Carbon
basics.
carbon
Then get down
dioxide is
into
a
it.
factor.
Yeah.
Front of the barrel.
Yeah.
Jump up and down on it.
Now, actually, we're going to do the blackberry patch.
Yeah.
Now, this
I think we're all
wine
getting
has
fired,
actually
by the way.
been a really renowned and loving wine that we've had
Loving?
several times. It loved me.
Loving one.
One night it loved me much more than my wife did because I drank enough of it. She said, you can sleep on the couch. And I went, okay.
The best couch ever.
It was a snory couch.
I love the couch.
Yeah.
Well, I remember this wine, like, when I first started getting into wine, I went to Dan and asked him, like, what's a nice Cabernet?
Well, that one.
He pointed out a couple, and then he pointed to the Zontes Cabernet. And to me, this is my favourite Cabernet still, for
It's delicious.
value for price.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about Malbec being a good backbone for Cabernet. There is another grape that these guys use, which is not Malbec in the back of their Cabernet. Anyone want to take a stab at this on the taste?
Does it start with an M?
No. But it
Can
does
you?
start with a T.
Starts with a T, so Tempranillo.
Yes.
Tempranillo.
Tempranillo, love
I'm
you.
glad you gave me that little tidbit.
Yeah. How many grapes start with T then?
Yeah, there's only there's 5.
Today, that's in my room.
Torontes. No, that's a white.
No.
So he does put a bit of Tempranillo in this as well. I'm not actually 100% certain why. It'd probably be good if we ask him why he does it. Because I
He's not
find...
talking to you.
No, he's definitely
Just to
not
balance out, or...
And I don't blame
So
you.
Tempranillo generally is a much more fruit-driven wine with a lot of savoury notes in the back. So maybe it's increasing the savouriness of the Cabernet, which is quite a fruity style of Cabernet.
It's Tempranillo Italian?
No, it's Spanish grape.
Damn, I always
Particularly
get that
renowned in the Ribeiro del Douro.
And the Tempranillo
and-
region of Tempranillo.
No, from the Rioja region.
Good try.
Well, good shot. If you want someone who can lie effectively, Pat is your man. He knows
If
how
you
to
can
lie.
say something with
That's not an
confidence, usually
effective
you
line
win.
anyway, shape or form.
If he actually goes like this and says,
You.
I love this.
When it comes
If
to
I
yes, historically it was grown in Madagascar and it was
Madagascar.
yeah,
But if I had my jacket with the elbow patches and I just sat there and was like, yeah, from the Tempranillo region of Tempranillo.
Tempranillo, yes. No.
that can work with some things, but no.
No.
Yeah.
That, and you've got to be
You'd
way
be
more
surprised how much
confident.
upper end Scotch I've sold here, just being like, oh yeah, it's like I wouldn't even bother with anything under
Where's the
$100.
Scotch from? It's from Scotland.
It's from Scotland. No, my favourite is, do you have an Irish Scotch? Absolutely. Come
Yeah,
with me.
pass it around the back.
A friend of mine, her last name is Scott. Where do you come from?
She don't come from
No,
Scotland.
not from Scotland.
Scotland.
No, certainly not. No, but no, it cracked me up. Like, it's the same thing for champagne. Hi, I'd like a nice bottle of champagne. Sure. How much are you looking to spend? Oh, $20.
Yeah.
Oh, you certainly don't want champagne then.
That's not champagne.
You want a champagne?
Champagne.
We've got Kylie Minogue champagne.
Oh, stop it!
Oh, have we?
Don't tell me that. You get it
She's also released a deodorant.
She's got a wine.
Smells
It's
like
a rosé.
wine.
No.
He bought it.
It's for my mum.
It's a present. You're not going to say that.
Don't tell your mum what you
Right
got
now.
for Christmas.
Right now.
No, she told me to buy it for her. It's like, I heard Kylie Minogue's got a rosé. I'm like, everyone's gonna make fun of me.
Yes,
Yes,
we did.
we did.
Yes, we
Is
did.
it called the locomotion?
I should be so lucky.
Ah!
I'd like to point out every gay man in Australia is something like, oh, really?
Really? Lovely.
But no, so, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, Cabernet, yes.
Yes.
So, Cabernet,
The wine.
the wine. Let's all just focus on the wine again now.
See,
I'm
is this a,
blaming it all on
is this
you.
a different vintage?
Yes, it is a different vintage.
Yeah. See,
Well, because you're on it.
this one's good, but the last vintage was absolutely
We're sitting
superb.
around chatting.
And I found out why the other day
What's that?
when we had the Mr. Riggs tasting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This one, it's a stand-up Cabernet. Like, I drink this happily. But the last vintage they made was absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
Like, exactly what I'm looking for in a Cabernet. This one,
Like?
I don't know. It's
Really?
yeah, it's not. It's good, but
I would not be unhappy if I bought a bottle of this.
I would be happy. But after the Super Trooper, like I think that was just brilliant.
So,
So now you can, you're comparing the two.
you did actually say, though, that you know why the 17 was better than the 18.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I found out Mr. Riggs was Ben Riggs was the winemaker in that vintage.
No. So
Was
is your
he?
brain
Was
being...
Well, that's what he told me on the wine.
Let's go
tasting
into the
night.
primacy.
Yeah,
effect.
no, that is true. He was actually part of the winemaking team.
Yeah.
Brad Ray.
He drove past a couple of times.
Yeah. He waved.
Hey guys! God! He was on the winemaking team for it, yes. But there's actually a lot of stop gaps between that. So I'm happy to be proved wrong in this, but I believe the final say in the whole thing at the time would have been Brad, Anna, were the two owners currently.
Yeah.
And I believe they would have had a much more input into it, but the winemaking base of it, yeah, possibly would have had a fair bit of it in there. But I think it's more a vintage specific thing.
No, we're doing
No,
fine.
we're doing ours now.
You're
so,
not invited?
yeah.
No.
If you didn't get here in time,
We do have your
Thanks for
wine.
the unrequited comment.
That's right.
yeah.
I'm just standing in, mind my business, being quiet, just like coming to say hello.
Yeah, see, yeah. No.
Was that a bird?
Cheers, yeah. It's a bird, yeah, see?
Cheers.
Hey, you can't swear, we're on wine.
Get a glass.
Swear.
Get a glass and grab one of your own.
Have a glass.
Get a glass.
No.
And
Why
grab,
not? What?
I'm going to say how you...
Oh, you got COVID? So you don't want to try this new wine?
COVID.
Yeah, try.
It's come on.
You don't want to try this new wine that we've
Ben.
got?
Stop it.
If you don't like our wine, we can
No.
grab one of your bottles out and pour it for you.
Yeah.
You're making me insecure.
You good.
That's what I get.
You are crook. Oh, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
I'm thick.
Okay, well, look at you stare over there.
I'm thick.
Lovely to see you.
Not thick.
Yeah, I know you.
Thick or
You're
sick?
thick.
Thick.
Thick. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not talking about that. No.
Hello. That's alright. Just thought I'd drop in.
Well, you can drop out now.
Shake my head.
Just don't drop off.
Don't drop
Don't
off.
drop
Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time, gadget. Next time.
Oh, I'll see you next time.
So anyway, back to what we're saying. So I think it's more of a vintage specific thing
Strange people
rather
coming
than
here all the
Yeah.
actually that.
I can see. I saw that as well, but like
I like that. I like that one.
the to me because that Super Trooper was brilliant. Like I don't know. I was expecting a bit more like full bodied like Cabernet.
Which one would you like?
Like
I'd like to go to Cab
Hi.
Sav again just because I really like Cab Savs and apparently
finding it
Australians.
less
I'm so
rich.
happy that Australians invented Cab Sav. That
no,
makes
Cab Shiraz.
Shiraz cab.
shit. Sorry. Oops.
So he actually came so close to passing that test that failed miserably.
Yeah.
Bugger it up. You're not allowed back anymore.
Yeah. Still high in transit.
Fans, dear fans,
So nobody commented and
the
said.
comedic influence of.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to have a quick. We'll just reevaluate the Shiraz,
That
the
one's my
Cabernet.
favourite, though. That one's my favourite.
So well.
I'd like to actually swap them around how we taste them.
Yeah. Oh!
Oh,
Put
also,
it, oh,
That's the Cabernet.
Which one's the peas in? Which one is the pea in?
Well, this had a lot more tannin and grittiness, and it's a Shiraz
Yeah.
than what the Cabernet does. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah. But
Cabernet's smooth and nice.
especially for this
You think
vintage.
it's been blended. That's why it doesn't hold on as much.
Maybe.
Right, so I'm going to actually say we've got the Cabernet tasting. What was the wine of the day for you guys?
The
Shiraz Cab.
Shiraz Cab?
Yeah.
This one.
What was the third one? That was
That
the new
Shiraz
one.
Cab, yeah.
The truck.
Go with
You
Shiraz.
just like the picture on the
Yeah.
label.
Not only that, it tastes good.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And it's
Honestly,
a great
look-
movie as well, Super Troopers. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a brilliant wine. Like,
Well,
well made.
Dan,
like-
what's your
What
response?
was the last one?
Cabernet.
Batch number 2.
yeah, Cabernet.
I actually really like Cabernet.
Actually,
but I'm
I'll
not
go-
getting it.
For
as
me personally,
traditional Cabernet.
Okay, yeah.
So
for
yeah,
me-
for my votes, the Cabernet.
1, 2, 3.
for me, it was the Super Trooper, then the Melbeck.
We're not doing an order here, we're just picking our favourite.
Yeah, it's one or none.
Because I think the Melbeck
Super
deserves
Trooper gets 1,
One.
2.
I'm
You're going with the
still
Cabernet?
like the Cabernet.
Dan's
I'm actually
confused.
I'm actually going to go for the Super Trooper because
Who told you?
it is a really lovely wine.
It's delicious.
It is a really
Seriously?
lovely wine.
Yeah, it is lovely.
It is
Just
just
my
Yeah.
favourite today.
like, I could
Have
sell
you
that.
nominated your favourite though?
Yeah,
Because
Cabernet.
Oh,
yeah, I
right.
went with Cab.
Look, I have to say I'm really impressed with all the wines, and in fact, that's one of the things I do like about Zontes.
Yeah, they never fail.
Very consistent,
Mm-hmm.
which really, really is important because the number of times you get a wine from a winery and they go, "Yes, this is good," and then you try other things, and you go,
Meh.
and then the next vintage comes out and you go, "Yeah."
See,
And
I
then
think
finally you just go, "We'll just push that to the side and forget about it."
Yeah.
This is great.
Zontes have got a couple of whites as well.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
50
they're-
Shades of Green, is that
Yeah.
right?
Shades of Green is excellent.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
I've never
but
done
suddenly you want to drink white, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm just still giggling at the title.
Yeah, well, it's quite catchy, isn't it?
50 Shades of Green could be an interesting thing at best.
And they're Excalibur.
Can you get a bill for that?
Excalibur.
Well, the next one's Excalibur.
See, I'm not a big fan of Sablons, but like,
Yeah, I can pretty much assure
if they can do it right, but usually they need Semillon in there to give
make
it a bit,
Yeah,
give it a bit more something.
Palatable.
Look, I'm still.
For
Sauv
your-
Blanc is still an Australian love. Everyone's
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's crazy for it. It's the biggest selling white in Australia. Chardonnay is making a huge comeback, but
Chardonnay.
only at the $30 level.
Yeah, $30 is what you have.
Well,
to say
$30
to.
is kind of classy, but not
Kind-
real.
no.
classy.
Yeah,
it's where
You
start
can
to
have
get the
you
good
can have an
idea.
excellent
good
Chardonnay for $30.
Yeah.
Whereas Sauv Blanc, you have to go up to
That
about
Chardonnay,
$50
well, I guess so.
Oh,
before you get
that's-
like a really
I've
good
actually
Sauv
got
Blanc.
Cheryl.
How much does that one cost?
$20.
It's at
How many?
$20.
$20.
Tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it is honestly.
Well, it's
Zontes-
actually like 25, but we
we do it for 20. Yeah.
Well, that Deli Duel we had the other day, the Chenin Blanc,
Yeah, that was lovely.
squared. Yeah.
Oh, that was at the $30
It's a whole-
one.
Yeah, oh, $30, but like $30,
That's
like if you want a nice wine to have, that was brilliant. That's why I really want to try the.
So
It's
what one-
delicious.
So one is Super Trooper 1,
Super Trooper.
backed up by the Blackberry Patch.
Yeah.
And
Very
then, and then
impressed.
this one. Well,
Honorable mention for the Melbeck, I reckon. Though.
Yeah, look, I really like the
Like,
Malbec. I
the
always
Malbec-
like the Malbecs.
I don't really like Melbeck, but that one was alright.
I think it's good. Like it's a
Hang
nice
around
little
for a minute.
fruity wine. Like
When the camera goes off, you can mix your own little GSM.
yeah, you can make it.
Dan's
Yeah.
invited me to hang around for when the camera.
I'm a little bit
And we
worried.
thought size
Shannon's
wasn't important, but
bit of a
obviously it is,
worry.
so, you know.
Yeah, Chatty needs a newspaper with a date on it.
Shannon's just needs a date.
Chatty has a date driving.
Oh, here we go. He's getting defensive now.
Turn the camera off. Turn that camera
Rightio.
off.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you all. Actually, are we going to do this again next week?
Yep.
Why not?
Why not? So what are we going to do next week?
What are we doing next week?
Let's do whites. Jody loves whites.
Love
Oh.
whites. Yes.
Do we have to? We could do Chardonnay.
I
He
think
doesn't love Chardonnay.
Like-
Well, but
We've done
that's even
Chardonnay.
better. That makes it more fun.
Sorry,
Okay.
we've done Chardonnay, but that
we've done some Chardonnays.
I've got some new. I've got a new Chardonnay that I really
Cardonnay.
appreciate.
Cardonnay next week.
Well, could we do Lethbridge? It's pretty pricey.
Can we do-
We did Lethbridge when we did the across the ditch.
We did the
one.
Pinot Gris.
Oh, across the Dutch.
Across
Yeah.
the Dutch.
Oh,
What are your
straight Cabernets.
We'll
What
get
else we
Michael
got?
up here. What could Michael?
Oh, we can do Spanish varietals.
we can do,
Tempranillos
we can
and-
do Malbecs and things like that.
Yeah.
too.
Well, you guys let us know what we're doing.
Yeah,
it's actually a great idea.
Somebody
Try it
tell
out
us
to
what
the
we're
public.
supposed to
You
drink
guys
next week.
suggest, we will do.
Yeah.
Anyway, drink well, drink like a savvy. Cheers.
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 Cheers, everybody.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, most welcome.
That's good. Now you have to get me fit. Right, see ya.
Oh,
That's not gonna
that's a bigger task.
That's a bigger task.
That's almost like